Well, hello, a very good afternoon to you. How are you? This is Hochanda. My name is Rachel. Thank you for joining us on this show. I'm really looking forward to this because there are at least 3 demonstrations for you in this show from the lovely Abs and his collections. So that's fantastic because it is always wonderful to see him at work. But thank you for joining us. As I say, I'm Rachel and we have got some lovely things for you on the show in terms of stencils. We've got stamps. We've also got some dies for you as well from AALL Create. It's really clever. When I've worked with Abs, I've been asking him about the company, and I don't know how it works. It's magic because what he does is he works with designers around the world. So he does lots of collaborations and brings them in, and he's got people in Australia, America, and then of course people from this country as well. And what's strange is that he gives them a brief, and his thing as well, his ethos is that if they come up with an idea and he's already seen that it's been done, he will say no, there's no point in doing anything that's been done before. We've got to keep creating and doing new things all the time. And somehow those collaborations come through and they all work together, even though the designers are all very different. So I don't quite understand how it works, but it does, and that's what's important. So if you are buying things from his range, they may be from different designers, but they do work together. Shall we begin with our first collection here? We've put all sorts of items that you've seen before together in new configurations, and so this might just be the perfect bundle for you. So let's have a look at this one first of all, and these are some lovely stencils for you here, and if I just show you, and you've got a stamp as well, if I show you there, what you get when you buy an AALL Create stencil or stamp or die is you get this fantastic detail. I mean, oh my goodness me. Yes, you've got obviously the big circles, but you've got half circles, you've got big, you've got small, and then you've got this amazing kind of grid as well around it, which just makes it fantastic. And if you've ever seen Abs create, what he often does is he will just pick an area of it. So he doesn't ever kind of go, right, that's the whole thing. He'll just pick, you know, a corner or a fraction, or he'll pick a huge area here, or maybe just the big circle in the middle. So when you buy anything from Abs, because of the way that you are using them, the versatility and variety is extraordinary. I mean, my goodness me. You can just get so many projects out of these. And then of course, as well as those 2 that I've just showed you, these are the stamps there. So if I just actually turn it around there so you can see. So once again, this is working alongside those fantastic stencils there, and you can see all the lovely circles working there. So 208713 is your item number, and that is £18.97 for all 3. £18.97 for all 3, and that is a sizable stencil as well, so I think that is very good value. 208713. Let's move on to our stamps here. Now, this is a masculine collection, and whenever we do anything that's masculine, things always sell very well because it can be quite difficult doing masculine cards. Now, once again, I just want you to feast your eyes on the detail. It's quite extraordinary when you look at what's going into there. You've got hands, you've got the engines, you've got the sentiments, you've got the words, the type, the grid, the stripes. You know, it's amazing. And of course, you don't have to use the whole thing. If you do want to use the whole thing, then do. You've got an immediate background, but you can just pick elements. So when you're buying these, and you are getting 4 stamps in total, and I'll show you the size of them because they are really quite large. When you're buying these into 4 stamps in total, to me, I personally feel like you're buying 36 or 50 or some ridiculous number, because the point is that you can just separate them. So you can, I mean, not physically, but you can just ink a little bit of them. You can just use a little bit of them. So to me, it's like you're buying a massive collection, a massive masculine collection, because you have got so many different elements in there, haven't you? So if you want to just use a hand, you can. If you want to use a plain engine, you can. If you want to use just numbers, you can. That's what is absolutely genius about them. They offer you great value. £42.97 070 695 is your item number if you'd like to get hold of those. Do remember, we're in our extra event, and that means that you are getting the extra flexi pay, and you only have to spend £30 now to get your flexi buy. So all of these things can be put onto your flexi buy scheme. Let's have a look at these 2 right now, because these are 4 absolutely beautiful stencils. Once again, look at the detail. Oh my goodness me. I'm going to take this one from the top. I'm going to put it on my black card here, and I'm just going to show you the kind of detail that you get within that stencil. Have a look at that. Just amazing. So of course, you know, you could just pick a big section like that and just have the flower, or you could just pick, you know, certain leaves out of it. You could do the whole thing as a background. You could just do a corner section. It's really hard for me to do this backwards, you know, and that's just one of them. So you get 4 of these, so the value is absolutely extraordinary. Let me just show you the other stencil here from the top. Look at that. Look at that. So this is kind of, it reminds me of the sort of mandala colouring books and the kind of mindful colouring books where you have all this lovely detail to colour in. So you could create something like that for yourself to colour in. But once again, you could just use elements of that. It's totally up to you. But they are absolutely fantastic. This one, now, that is just so interesting. You know, if you were to use that and then you were to use, you know, maybe some script across here. If you imagine from the previous collection, you had the engine, you could have an engine coming in here. You could have something hanging down the middle. I mean, you could really go to town. That's your background, and then you could add all of these fantastic elements on, make it quite grungy, you know, quite detailed. I think that is a brilliant stamp because a brilliant stencil, because it's just interesting. It's just an interesting set of shapes. And then we've got the ice cracks next, which I think Abs was actually using this one when I was demonstrating with him last time on a show, and he just used a fraction of it again. But you know, once again, that's interesting. All the ice cracks are different sizes, so you can just use tiny little cracks. You can go for a bigger crack. So you get all 4 of those for $18.96. That is $945,199. If you are a Freedom member, well, even better saving, £17.06, and your free P&P as well, which is fantastic. So 945,199 is your item number. More stencils for you next. I just think these are such great fun. I mean, look at that. So beautifully designed as a compass. Just absolutely amazing. I think I've got it upside down. There we are. So really fantastic to be able to just use that. Of course, you could just take elements again. It's totally up to you. But this is your compass, splatters, and your bursts. Let me just show you another one. I want to show you as well, if you imagine sort of using elements of that together. So, for example, the splatters, if you were to put the splatters underneath on this side first, and then you were to put that compass over the top, I'm hoping you can sort of see an idea of how they could work together so that you're layering up this very sort of grungy image, if that's what you want to do. But they're standalone stencils as well by themselves. Again, we've got more backgrounds here for you to use. Now, 10% gone on this collection. Lots of people are liking these very much indeed. They feel really nice to work with. They're very sturdy. And as I say, I just love it how you can just choose bits of them to use. 229714. There is also a Freedom price on here as well, which is fantastic. Only $13.47 for those 3 stencils there. Superb value and free packaging and posting. Now, some dies for you, and they're already mounted on the board, so I should just hold those up for you so you can see what you are getting in terms of a lot of metal here, and then we'll have a look at the pictures and see what you're actually going to be creating. But you've got your code, bursting buds and cells here. 270852 is your item number. $43.97 for those. On that FlexiPay, it is £14.66. It ends tonight at 6 o'clock, so don't miss out on that extra payment. And then if you have a look, this is the kind of thing that you are going to be cutting out there. So I love it. You've kind of got the numbers, you've got the honeycomb almost, you've got the kind of floating little leaves in there, but just so different. That's what I love about AALL Create. It is just all so different, and that's what Abs demands from his designers. Brilliant. Let's have a look at some stamps for you now. If you like your florals, say florals. Yes, there are some florals. Yes, there are florals. And a lovely bird in there. Pocket watches as well. All sorts of things. I shall turn them around because then you can see, I think when you see the stamps in real life, immediately you just go, oh, okay, I could just use that bit. I could use that bit. Now, the same theory that I had before, Here, you're getting 16 stamps. Are you really though? Because, I mean, once again, I look at that collection, I think, well, I would break down the big one with the bird, and suddenly it feels like I'm getting 5 stamps within that stamp because I've got a bird and I've got some flowers and you've got your edging, etc. So that's the point. You are getting a lot of detail here. Look at that with the light bulbs. Amazing. Look at that eye. Fantastic. The bunting, which has got the type in it. So these are such cool and contemporary stamps. AALL Create are one of my favourite companies in terms of yeah, the designer work is glorious. 098268 is your item number. Extra Flexi, 1169, your first of 3 Flexi buys. If you are a Freedom member, that is what you'll be paying today, which is fantastic. So that's those. Now we've got a whole range of stencils for you, and these are absolutely huge. If I just hold it up for you here, there you go. So this is your first one, 407771. Again, it is bigger than my face, but only just because I have got a rather large face. I have got quite a wide face. So look, if you imagine, you could just use elements of that, you know, because look at the detail. So you've got this kind of swirls, and then you've got these small circles. And then you've got this kind of detail here, which is your squares, you know, and then even smaller circles, and then, you know, the edgings. I mean, this is what you have to look at when you look at these stencils, is the amount of detail. So it's one stencil, but so many options. Under a tenner, $9.99 today. That's 407771, your item number, if you would like to get hold of that one. The next one is called Abundance. Again, it's the detail in here. If you want to get this one, it's 647164, under a tenner again. But I mean, isn't that just glorious? I absolutely love it. It doesn't matter which way you put it as well. You can put it whichever way you want to go. But once again, leaves and flowers and circles, just fantastic. 647164 is your item number. Then we've got the twirling tendrils, and this is one thing that this says to me is the non-symmetrical element. And because it's non-symmetrical, that to me says it looks a bit more expensive. That's, in my eyes, that's what I see. I think when things are non-symmetrical, they just have, I don't know, they're just kind of this refined thing about them. I love it, and I love the detail. I love the fact that it is thicker at the top and thinner at the bottom. It's got the swirls within, it's got the flowers within, it's got the kind of crushing waves, if you want, at the top there. You know, absolutely glorious there. 975463 is your item number, under £10. If there were stamps that were royalty, I think these would be royalty stamps in terms of, like, they're just the detail. Stencils rather, not stamps. Well, stamps as well. All of it. All of it. AALL Create would be by royal, whatever it is, command or whatever it is. Now, this is one of their most popular stencils that AALL Create do, and this one is called Sunflower Power. You can see why. I love, this is almost like a little smiley face in here, isn't it? But look at that sunflower, just glorious, and then all those different layers as well over the top. Absolutely fantastic. Under £10, 771552, your item number. Now, there is more on the show. You've got these massive A4 stamps. Oh my goodness me. Have a look at those on the website. Do you want me to have a look at those now? No? Have a look at those on the website, hochanda.com. But I did say that the lovely Abs has done some demonstrations for us. He's done 3, and this is part 1.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and you're keeping safe. It's Abs here from AALL Create, and I'm so pleased to be back on your screens. So today I'm demoing here from my house here in London. I'm not in the studios, so I really hope all this will be over soon and then we'll be all back to the Hochanda studios, because I really miss my Hochanda family. Okay, so here you have some stamps and dies and stencils from the show today, and for this project I will be working on, let me put those aside, I will be working on some tags. I love decorating creating tags. I love working on tags. So I'm comfortable on this size, as you know there. And I'll be using a lot of different stencils and stamps from the show. And I will be working on my jelly plate. So for this project, you will need your jelly plate. This is an A4 size, and I'm working on my AALL Create A4 acrylic block. As you can see, you can put your jelly plate on it. It's perfect for it. You can stamp with it, and that is a bonus, let's say, to have your jelly plate on. For that, I will be also working with different AALL Create stencils. All these stencils are in the show today. As you can see here, different size. I have the 6x6, I have the A4, and I have the small ones. Also, you will need a brayer. You will need some acrylic paints, obviously. So I have here different colors. It's your choice for the colors. And finally, you will need a normal paper, which is here. I have here a standard printing Copic paper. You can use any paper, you can use tissue paper or whatever. So let's start. For this project, so I'll be layering here some color on my jelly plate. I'm here using the first color, which is green. And then using my brayer, I'm gonna apply this color all over my jelly plate. I'm doing a very, very thin layer. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab one of the stencils here. So I'll be using first the A4 Totally Dotty, the hashtag 87. Let me put it here so you can see which one I'm working on. So I have it here. Just let me put it on the top of my jelly plate, and then I use my printer paper and rub it very well to take the excess of the paint through the stencil. Do not hesitate to rub it very well, especially where all those gaps and all the stencil details are. So you have at the end a nice open space and a nice print. Okay, so I think that should be fine. Yeah, so I don't bin this because can you see here I already have a nice print on that one. But the most important print is the one that is on the jelly plate because that's what we need later. So let me show you what I did here. I think, yeah, on my desk you can see better here all the different textures that I have. Okay, now I will layer a second color. So for that I will be using, I will go with yellow. So let me put a little bit of yellow here and there. I didn't clean my brayer because I don't mind the color if they get mixed or they blend. I find it more interesting and it gives you a nice texture. So here I'm not abraiding all over my plate, just the area where my paint is. A very thin layer as well. It will help me later on to dry it. And I have here different stencils. So I have here the 87 here, the broken circles. So let me just put it for you here so you know which one I'm using now. So I'm working with that one, and I may also work with the the ice cracks, sorry. And last one, maybe I'll be using this one, the number 80. That's are the stencils that I'm using. Same thing, put your paper and make sure to grab all that paint. You need to be quick before it dries. I'm not sure I was quick enough because I was showing you the stencils. I took all my time, but I'm sure I can still grab some layer of paints. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, that did work very well. And then if you find some area you didn't take off enough paint, you can always still go there, rub it very well to make sure to take all that excess. That is brilliant. I'm liking it. Okay, so see, I have already a nice texture that you can see already through the stencil. Can you see all these parts? You may not see all the details now, but the more you layer, the more you see them later. Let me add now a bit of orange. So I'm gonna use some orange here. One maybe here, and maybe the other side. Just small amounts. Again, I'm not cleaning my brayer. Now we just be quick. Do one by one, and then just to avoid the paint dries in between. Do that part, rub very well. So this is, yeah. So this is the broken circle 67. I will do the same thing here in this area, and I will be working on yeah, I will be using here that stem set, the stencil, sorry, 68, the ice cracks. Same thing, take off all the excess. I love layering paint on jelly plate, and I love stenciling. I think that's when you have a good selection of stencils, your print is more interesting and is more beautiful. Because I used to do this jelly plate with 1 or 2 stencils and 1 or 2 colors. It was nice, but I found it more interesting when you have more colors and more patterns from your stencils. So the more you have, the more different stencils you use, the beautiful print you will have at the end. I find it more interesting. Some people may like having less patterns, but I love more. Okay, so that is nice. Let me take that one. And then lastly, I'm gonna work now with a different stencil. So I'll be working now with the Campus number 8. Let me put it aside. And this time I'm gonna use in different way. So that's my stencil here. Because I'm doing the print, because I have some words in here, so I'm just gonna put it upside down. So like this. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to go with the blue, a little bit of contrast, and now I'm gonna apply this color on the top of my stencil. So let me put here a little bit on my desk, just apply, and then a thin layer of this color on the top of my stencil. So I will only have the pattern that I want through my stencils without. Yeah, that is fine. Okay, so I do like that one. Just before I do my print, I will just make sure it's completely dry before doing my prints. Now all my layers are 100% dry, so I'm pleased with the all the different patterns you can see here from the different stencils that I've been using. Now I'm gonna apply some white acrylic paint to have a nice print at the end. Okay, so just gonna use my white acrylic paint. I'm putting a little bit more compared to what I was adding before in different colors. And then I'm gonna make sure I have the paint all over my jelly plate. And this white acrylic paint, it will help you activate all those dry layers underneath. And because all the paints were 100% dry, can you see? I have 100% white here. I do not have any other colors. So I'm going to put my first tag here because I don't want to lose that space there. I don't want to lose that nice texture. So I'm doing that in there, and then I'm putting my piece of paper, and then make sure to wrap very well to have a nice print, and also to grab all those nice textures on my jelly plate. Okay, just I think it should be fine now. Okay. Okay, so can you see? I cleaned all my jelly plate, and now I will take my stencils, my tags, sorry, and see what nice patterns we got. So that is the first one, and that is the second one, and I really like both of them. As you can see, all the different details, all the different textures, and all the different. So that's our background now ready using the different stencils on the shelf today.
I find it fascinating how that works. I mean, I've never seen that done actually. And I was looking at the plate going, I don't understand. How is that going to turn into something else? And then it did, isn't it? It's absolute magic. So thank you very much to Abs. And there is more from him in this show as well, because he's going to be taking us through some more demonstrations. If you want to buy any of the stamps, by the way, we have got some fantastic stamps for you on the show. These A4 stamps. And my goodness me, as I was saying before, the detail in the stamps, it is like you are buying several stamps within the one. I'll go through them in more detail in just a second, but I don't want to keep him waiting because the lovely Abs is actually on the telephono right now. Hello!
Hello.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Are you keeping yourself nice and safe and secure?
I am indeed, but I'm missing you so much.
Oh, I know. We're missing all of our lovely guest Abs, but especially when you come in because you light the room up. But it is, it's a shame because we just get to learn so much from you when you come into the studio. But it is great. The videos that you're all doing are amazing. And of course, yours then. It's just fascinating to see it all coming together.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm missing you so much, and I'm trying to do my best to send VTs and send demos to keep all our lovely viewers and creative and to deliver some inspiration to them.
Yes, well, you certainly are inspiring us. But Abs, I was talking about the things that we've got on the show today. We've been busy actually across the board, and I was just saying that I find it incredible, almost as incredible as your jelly plate demonstration there. I find it incredible how you work with all these different designers and then they come up with lots of ideas. I'm just going to ask you, and be honest with me, be honest, Abs, do you send back designs that they do and just go, no, I've seen that before, that's not good enough, it has to, because I know that you really want things to be different. So does that ever happen, or do they just seem to hit the nail on the head every time?
That's a good question, actually, because yes, it did happen many times. But I say I do not reject. I just do work on the design, and I'm trying to make something different. So the designer's already got that. So to do always something different, and then what we do is just make it look more versatile. That's the word. Yeah, more versatile, more different. So we work together, and it's a hard thing to say no to someone, but if it doesn't tick the box, it has to be redone.
Yeah, exactly. But that's good because then you end up with these amazing collections. Is there anything over the years that has come back to you from a designer and has absolutely blown your mind? Can you think of anything that you've looked at and gone, wow, that is incredible, and then it's just kind of disappeared off the shelves, like a favourite?
Oh, it's very hard to say favorite, but to be fair, I'm always saying that to the design team and to the designers with each collection. I think everyone is doing better and better and better. And the Orange Create company is only 4 years this November. They're still a baby company, and 3 years this July with Hochanda. And I think designers did really well over the last 4 years. And yeah, it's hard to say just one for wow, just to mention one, but
yeah. But they're all fabulous, yes. And of course, one of your biggest selling stencils is the one that I've got in my hand, which is that wonderful sunflower burst. And people
actually two of them, not only one. The number one top seller is the Totally Dusty, and the second one is the Sunflower Power. So both of them are in the show today.
Yes. Yeah, well, they are glorious, and thank you so much, Abs, for bringing these lovely things to us. Long may you continue with your design team. Long may you continue going, no, come on, let's make it better, because then we get all these great things. And I must just give a shout out to your social media, because you're still doing your Instagram lives every day, aren't you? Is it 7 o'clock?
I'm doing Instagram live every day at 7:30. UK time, 7:30 p.m. on my account for Tour de Moi. And I just didn't do it the last 2 days because I was prepping something, but I'm back from tonight, so every day at 7:30 p.m.
Yes, brilliant. Well, we'll be watching that, and I enjoy watching just to hear you speaking French. I just tune in for that, Abs.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, my darling, I will speak to you very soon, and hopefully we'll see you back in the studio when all of this craziness has ended.
Hope so.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Au revoir,
Bye-bye.
mon ami. Au revoir.
Wow.
Oh, bless him. He's such a lovely, lovely man and so talented. And like I say, we were watching that demonstration. Another one's coming up shortly, but it's always fascinating to see him work. Let's have a look at these stamps that he has brought to us. I'm going to flick this round here because when you think of an A4 stamp, you might have an idea in your head. It's not going to look like this, let me tell you. They are just amazing. Look at the detail. This is called layered grunge. You can see why. I mean, you've got those kind of, almost like coffee cup circles in there. You have got type in there. I love the grunge type as well. Follow your dreams. You've got love hearts in there. I mean, it's just, you could use this for 30 different designs and still go back and use it for more. It's just absolutely amazing. So that's that one. And that is 734357. Let's move on to the next one now. I should just turn this one round for you straight away. And once again, you can see all of that detail in there, including a dragonfly. You love your dragonflies, you've got your numbers, you've got a man in there, you've got grids in there. So someone is sketching in a sketchbook and then they've given you their sketches. I love the sort of strong black shapes in their silhouettes, because all you need to do is stamp one of those onto a white card, a little bit of something else, a sentiment, and that's it, you've made a card. But if you want to grid it, watercolor it, layer it, then you absolutely can as well. So that is 680-219 as an item number. The next one, some beautiful florals coming your way. And let's have a look at this one. Look at these. Such great statements as that. Blossom number, and you see once again all detail go into stamp those souls and detail behind the fuzz there. That is 14015 as an item number, 83 and 99. And then last one here. And your numbers on there and your botanical well. So numbered botanical, that lovely fern. You've got even, looks like patterns there been made. You've got the circles, you've got numbers, you've got wonderful in the background as well. And even just the numbers, they remind me of those, you know, the racing cars, and they'd have the circle and the number inside. You like to be, but from the you know, the really like 20s and 30s cars, those numbers remind me of those. That is the kind of font. So 210914, your item number, if you would like to get hold of that collection. Right, we have been through the entire counter. You can of course go shopping on the website now, hochanda.com, or you'd watch next part of our demonstration.
After finishing my backgrounds and all the work on jelly plates, now I'm going to go to stamping, creating more point, adding more stamping, both of us. So I have here cardstock, the watercolor cardstock that I'll be using to stamp the focal point on. So I'll be doing stamping on my cardstock, but also I'll be stamping directly on my tags. So let me start with stamping the focal point. So here I have here my again, to create a block on that you click and rent to have a print. So I stamp first. I can with this stamp here, the A1 2 to 7, and as you can see, you have two big images here. So I'll be working with this one first. Okay, let me put it here aside so you can see like before, and then I will grab the stamp set that I already have here open. As I always say before stamp, I always play always with my acetate, put it on the top of my paper just to have an idea what I'm printing, and so just like of it, some all of it, just highlight details. So always my acetate guide, and I think it's a good idea to use acetate to have it. So you want some, for example, a very background. So you want to put for here's less more. If you put it, highlight it more, and if it's here very busy, I don't want to to hide that part here. So play with my acetate and see where is the perfect place where to stamp it. So always keep your acetate. Okay, because I'm gonna stamp I'm gonna stamp here in the black focal point. So I'm using my VersaFine Claire. I'm using the black one first, because for the focal point I only need the light bulb. So I'm just gonna apply a good layer of ink on that part of the stamp. I don't need the rest of it for now. Okay, that's a good layer of ink. And I will go and stamp directly on my cardstock. So do not lift off your acrylic block straight away. So leave a few seconds, leave it to sit on the paper so you have a nice print, but also because you're using the A4 acrylic block, so make sure you use that flexibility to have a nice print. Can you see? Just lift it to one side so the pressure will go all down here, which means where your stamp is. So like this, you have a nice print. Just lift it. You don't have to press too much. Some people have problem with their they cannot press that much with their hands. So that acrylic block is perfect. You see what I'm doing? You can also do it the other side. It works or from this corner or from this corner. So you always, the more you press, the more you lift it, sorry, the nice print you have. Okay, but I'm just gonna press here very well, and now I think I have perfect here print. Okay, so that is my print here. That is perfect. I don't need those here where it's not printed very well, because all what I need is the light bulb, and because I'm going to add some colors on the top, so that is already perfect for me. Okay, so that's the first stamp. Let me just put it quickly here. Now I'm going to play with the second stamp here. I'm going to stamp with the number 23, the light bulb. It has, because I think those two, they go very well together because they have the light bulb. So I'll be printing, some stamping with this one, and that stamp set is here. Okay, so that is the stamp set that I'm using, number 23. I will be stamping the two light bulbs. They come in two different sizes. we have a slightly bigger and one small, well, standard size and slightly bigger. A good layer of ink as we did with the first one, and then just stamp it here. Again, at the end, I'm going to stamp the same thing on my background, so I just need the light bulb here as a focal point. So I'm just going to make sure they have a nice pressure in there. And that one, because it's a small stamp, you don't have to press that much. Let me just show you here close up. Okay, now I'm going to put those two back on my acetate. And then put my cardstock aside. I will color them later on in a second. And now I'm going to grab my, my tags, sorry. And I'll actually, let me keep them here, because what I'm going to do now for that part here, the stamp set that we just stamped, the large light bulb, I want to stamp the same one here, but now I want to have more of this pattern here on the background. Those details here, that texture, I want to have it in the background. So later on, when I first cut the light bulb from the cardstock and then stick it with 3D foam here, it will have a nice continuity and we have all this nice texture. But for that, I don't want to stamp in black because otherwise it would be too much black. So I'm going to use the VersaFine again, but this time using slightly lighter color, and I'm using the gray one. Okay, so I have here my acrylic block again. Put my stamp set, because sometimes the VersaFine takes a little bit longer to dry, so I'm not sure if it's dry or not, but because I don't want dark color, so I'm just gonna just make sure I'm not gonna clean it 100%, but just take that upper layer of ink in case there's any ink that is not dry, because I don't want the black, so I just want the new color, which is very light. I want the gray, so I'm just cleaning my stamp here. Sometimes it's already dry, so don't not worry about that because I'm not sure. So I prefer, oh sorry, that was too wet. Let me add more. Okay, I think now there's no black, so I can stamp easily. So now I'm gonna focus more on the background rather than on light bulb. It's like the way around what we did before. Before we focused more on the focal point, but now I just want this detail. So I don't mind putting on the top, but that is only for the background. So even if I don't have a nice print, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I forgot to use my acetate to see where I want my focal point to be. Should I put it here, the side? I think I'm gonna put it, I like it more here. Or should I put it this way? Okay. And then leave it a few seconds before you take off your acrylic block. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, so perfect. And then let me put the tag aside, the stamp aside, and then move to the second part. Okay, I will leave that one here aside, and let me use now the other stamp. So what I want to do now is I want to add more stamp into my background using a different texture, using different background stamp. So I have the different ones. I have here the 313, the reverse dot is an A7, sorry, that's an A6, and that is a border size. Okay, so I'll be using them this time with some distress oxides, and I'm gonna grab some different colors that I already have on my background. That one is leave it at the end for some contrast, but the orange, the blue, and the brown, I all have them here. I didn't use a brown acrylic block, but because some color mixed, so I will be using the brown because also it goes very well with this color. Okay, so I'm not gonna use this time I'm not gonna use the acrylic block because all what I want is having just some textures and some details. Let me start with that one. So I'm taking the stamp set. I started with the 202, the border one. And all I'm going to do basically is just stamp part of it and not all of it. Just some parts. Just adding some texture to my tag. Okay, maybe also some parts from the middle. Yeah, I like it like this. let me show you what I'm doing so you can see here all the details that I'm adding. Can you see here all the details here and around the edges too? You may think that it's too dark here and you hide a little bit from your background, but as I said, do not worry about that part here, because later on we're going to put the light bulb that we did on the cardstock, so it will pop more later on. Okay, so that is the first one. I'm gonna use now a different color, the blue and the orange, and now I'm gonna use the reverse dot, the small A7 one. I'm gonna take it out the acetate, so you can see just what I'm going to add here, and just small details around the corners and the edges. Okay, so let me start with the blue. I'm just using it with my hand directly, put in the paint here, and then just add in a few bits here and there. Yeah, that's the blue. So it's nice to bring that blue to different, so you have a nice continuity with that. Now I'm gonna stamp with the orange. And also because that stamp set matched the stencil that we used on the background to start, on the jelly plates, so it's nice contrast to have different circles in different size and different color as well, because the first one we did with the green and now we have orange. Okay, so just carry on adding a few more here and there. Okay, let me use here, so I'm using the blue. You see, I'm just mixing two colors. I'm using blue and orange, just adding that more depth and interest to my tag. You do the same thing here. Let me bring some blue. Let me have it here. Oh, that's so nice. I like it like this. This part of the stamp set. Okay, with the hands pointing the... Let me show you what I just did. So you see here the hand, the numbers, the circles here. So kind of I'm extending that blue print from the compass stencil on jelly plates with more stamping, like the same color. So, and then I'm gonna bring now some contrast using let me use now that stamp set, because I really like the numbers on that one, and I think that will be strong to add some numbers to your background, because we already have some numbers, different size, and that one is different size but also a different font. So it's a nice contrast to add to your background. So I'm just gonna do here some stamping here, just don't want the line, so just go with the twos for now. Oh, I do like it. It adds a completely different layer of interest to your background. And now I'm just gonna do this 5 this side. Yeah. You see what we're building now, all those layers. And now I will add some brown, I think. And I want the, which number should I go with now? 230. So if there is a part of your stamp that you don't want to use, so just take that excess of paint with your hands, or with just your baby wipe, or just with stamp cleaner. They want the 230 here. Yeah. I like all the stamping that I added to that tag. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so this card's the one that I did here. So I'm going to use some Inktense watercolor pencils here, and color the light bulb, the large one and the small ones. So I already did one just before recording the videos, so you can see what I'm going to get. And I have those here from the past as well. So one of them is done now, and one of them that I had them before. So here they're already colored. I put a layer of glossy accents, some of them crackled as you can see, some of them a normal one, and then I just did fussy cut around. So, and then now, as I said, do not worry about that depth, because once you add that one, it's gonna make it pop more. So you can either use that one that I stamped with the brown, or you can use the black one with the normal glossy accent, or the one with the crackled one. And then we're gonna add some more of the small small light bulbs. And then maybe I will use one of those here in that tag, but I will see which one I'm going to use for this tag here.
And we'll find out more in just a second or two. Let me just remind you of a couple of things here on the counter. First of all, we have got 2 lovely stencils and we've got your stamp set. Remember, these stencils, you get so much detail in them, so you can just pick out elements. You could use the whole thing if you wanted to use them as a background. And then your stamp set, of course, is going to be matching in perfectly with your stencils. There is a Freedom price. £17.07 is what you'll pay if you're in the Freedom Club, and no packaging and posting. That is 208 713 as an item number. And then onto these stamp sets. Oh my goodness me, 3 stamp sets used in the demonstration, but look at the detail. As we were saying, when you buy these stamp sets, you're not buying just the 4 stamps. It's like you're buying 165 stamps. Okay, maybe slight exaggeration, but when you look at the detail, you have got your grid of numbers, you have got your steel steampunk kind of wheels and cogs, you've got your light bulbs, etc. So 070695 your item number if you'd like to get hold of those. 3 flexible payments, £14.32 your first of 3 flexes to get hold of that collection. Let's have a look then at the last part of the fabulous demonstration from our very talented Abs.
Okay, after finishing coloring both the small light bulbs and cut them around, I grabbed here my tag. As you can see here, I added some white acrylic paint because I found that part was very busy, because when I added that one, it was not really that much highlighted because it was really busy here and a little bit darker. So what I did is I put just a thin layer of acrylic paint. I just applied with my finger randomly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because now it's too much white, I need to bring a little bit more color. But I thought, why not doing playing again with those 2 stencils from today's show. So we have the compass and we have the number 10. And what I thought is I'm going to apply some texture paste, so to give it more dimension. So I'm going to go, because I have that compass here, so it's nice to have it here raised up in 3D. I'm using the texture paste, so I'm going to put like so. Grab some texture paste. You can use any texture paste you have at home. You can put a crackled one if you want. You can put a normal one. Here I'm just using a standard one. It's not crackled mine. Okay, so I may go also till here actually. I like that S, the letter S. Okay, I'm just taking all the excess. Okay. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so I have it here. That's very nice. Let me show you. Can you see what I add here? And now, because I want to have it the other side too, so now I'm using the second stencil, and either I will have the splatters or the circles. I think I will have circles because I can never have enough circles. Well, actually, let me leave the circles for later, so I'm going to just use some splatter here. Let me take some more texture paste and then do details in here and leave the circles for the second tag. Okay, yeah, just apply it here. Done. Perfect. Let me show you what I did. Yeah, can you see it here? It gives a nice texture. And now I'm going to do the same thing, the circles, as I said, on the second tag, because I really like them. And I may just do here a few on this side, 3, let's say 3 circles, or just make sure it's not moving like mine. So yeah, I'm gonna hold it now very well. And it's moved. Oh, good, actually, it didn't move that much. So let me try to put, oh, I'm not sure I can put it back exactly. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna take that much risk. And I'm just gonna add 1 or 2 circles here the other side, so to have nice. Okay, so brilliant. Yeah, let me show you just what I did here. Can you see the nice circles here? Okay, now I'm gonna just leave them to dry quickly. It will not take that much because I have fast drying texture paste, and we will do we will finish them together. We will finish off these 2 pieces. Now that my texture paste is completely dry on both tags, what I'm going to do is it's still too much white. So I'm just gonna use my distress oxides like I did before, and I'm gonna bring some color. So I'm going to do is I'm just gonna apply that color straight away on my stencil. I don't know if you can see that on the top of that texture paste. So you already give it some color and you highlight that pattern of the stencil. But and then either you keep it like this, or you can add just some water to just add some water with your water brush, so you highlight better that pattern and that nice compass design. Okay, just like so. Yeah. So it's already better, it's less white, and then it's not that white, so we can easily now add something else, and then we can everything work make it work brilliantly. And here what I'm going to add, because I have already too much blue and I have the orange, so I may go just a little bit of brown, not that much, just a little bit of brown. Again, just rubbing it like this. The same thing with the other circle, and then with my water brush, just make sure I have clean water now, and just go into around that part where I applied the can always dip and take the excess, and just add that water here, so everything works beautifully, and then you see that pattern very well. If you think you have too much water here, so either you keep it like this if you're happy with it. Actually, I like it. I was about to take some water, but I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to add a little bit maybe here. I like how it turned out, so it's really highlight that part. Yeah, maybe just from the center, but it's nice like this. It's going to give it that vintage touch. So okay, so my distress that I just added here is dry. So while I was having so the idea that I had in my mind is to use that light bar, but also use those two here, because I do like them like this. So maybe like this. What I'm gonna do is just take black stabilo pen or marker, whatever, and then just draw a line here where to hang those light bulbs. You don't have to have straight line, you do not have to use ruler, or I'm just using here stabilo. You can use a marker, you can use I'm using here a pencil, but as I said, you see I'm not having a straight line, and I like it like this. The same thing for that large light bulb. So kind of a hanging here. So either, because I use watercolor, either you leave it like this, or what you can do is just add a little bit of water to make it look more to activate those pigments and make it look darker. Or you can use a marker or a pen straight away. I'm gonna glue this too. I'm gonna add some glossy accent, and I'm gonna decorate the rest of the tag with some texture paste, with some white here I have white gel pen, so I can add some splatters, as you can see here around. I will add my sentiments and then just finish the piece off the way I want it. You can also add some kind of fake stitches here to frame it a little bit. You don't have to do the whole tag. Fake stitches, some crosses here and there, and do a little bit here the other side, so I have a nice continuity of the pattern both sides, just like this. Crosses here and there, and maybe just a little bit here bottom, like this, and yeah, here. Yeah, that is my demo. I hope you liked it. So I'm just gonna add some sentiments here, add some finishing touches, and it's ready to go. And for the second tag, you can either use also a light bulb, as I did with those two here, or just the small one and hang them, and then you can finish it off the way you want it. Thank you so much.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much to Abs for all those amazing demonstrations. He is a very talented man, but what is fantastic is that you can kind of fudge it a little bit by using his design stamps and stencils. As soon as you start playing, you can create absolute masterpieces. If you want to get these four, by the way, it's 945199 as an item number. Let me just very quickly show you how glorious they are. That gives you an idea. That's 3 of them. But the detail in them is just absolutely extraordinary, and we love, love, love that one, the broken circles. That's a great background to start with. Right, it's all available on the website, of course, hochanda.com. You can go shopping now, or you could stick around, because next up is some lovely sewing. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.